baby. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Matty Pace coming at you live from the Matty Mo Show, the host with the most mojo. And today, we gonna talk a little bit about a conversation I just had with one of my friends. Listen, all I gotta say is this: imagination is key. No matter what it is that you want to do and accomplish and achieve in life, you gotta understand that it all stems from your imagination and how much you really do believe in yourself. And imagination leads to attainment, but only if you're willing to walk the path. And the only way to walk the path is by starting by taking the first step. Now, I've often believed that the biggest battle we'll ever face in this life is not with anybody else. It's not with our trying to achieve a goal or a dream, but rather it's defeating our inner belief system that we may not be worthy of receiving what it is that we desire and what we want and what we're working towards. Last week on one of my streams on TikTok at Matty_Pace, I was talking a little bit about time. And it really occurred to me in the moment where we trade our time for everything. We never actually gain time. We only ever lose time. You know, when you go to a job, you're trading your time for money, for benefits, for whatever it is to give yourself a certain sense of freedom in life to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. You also trade your time in relationships. You trade your time in friendships. You trade time for all these things. So when you start really looking at life in that way, for me anyways, I started to really look at how much time that I was wasting towards things that really didn't serve my greatest good and what I am inevitably trying to accomplish and working towards accomplishing. And that right there is a fundamental that I wanted to share in this right here, because the conversation I just had with my boy CEO Hayes of the Awakened Soul podcast in Chicago Bulls Central, an incredible creator. We're gonna link his info down below, but man, I'll tell you what, it was so refreshing, and I had nothing but chills the whole time that we were speaking to each other, because when you get on that same vibe and that same frequency with somebody that just is authentically themselves, and we talked about that a little bit in his intro, it was just a special moment for me, because I think a lot of times we get caught up in this life of trying to portray someone that we want to be accepted in the eyes of society and other people, and we only end up hurting ourselves in the long run by doing that, because it never feels good somewhat faking it until you make it, as they say. I believe that you can definitely portray a little bit, lean on your ego a little bit to handle certain situations where maybe your non-ego self would kind of crumble and cave and get a little bit of nervous and things like that. So I think the ego's good in that sense, but at the same time, to live completely out of that and to really just do it because you're trying to obtain something, man, I think is going to lead to a very dark place, especially within yourself, you know, let alone not probably meeting your goals and what you're trying to achieve. Just having to go to bed every night and wake up every morning, just, you know, feeling almost like in yourself you're not good enough to get where you want to get by being who you are. And it's crazy, man. Life is a crazy thing, but you know what? The sun never fights the moon. You know, they both do their job when it's time for them to do their job. And that's just kind of the way that I like to look at life. And I said last week, and I want to share something with you guys. I shared a status in my Discord, which I'm not going to link below because there's a lot of crazy people out here in this whole Discord universe. I have found out. I have messed around. I have found out. It's crazy. But I want to share this with you. And maybe somebody out there that is currently battling, I want to say, an issue within themselves. Maybe you feel as if you're at war with the world. Maybe it feels as if you're, you know, really just on edge all the time, like you're living really surface level, like you're very easily to be triggered and things like that. Listen to this real quick. I wrote, water can be calm and peaceful, but also swallow the largest ships and destroy lands. The human can be empathetic, loving, and give life, but also destructive, hateful, and take life. you wouldn't have life without death, which is something that I really have come to understand to new levels. And it's not about one side or the other side, as both sides are both perception and perspective or opinion. It's about balance. It's about being in the middle. It's about respect for both sides while remaining neutral, as both sides serve a beautiful purpose. Now, I hope that in some way, shape, or form really helps somebody out there, because the whole essence of it was to just kind of bring you back into the moment where everything is happening. You know, the past no longer exists except your attachment to it. The future doesn't exist, only in your thoughts and your ideas of it. And I think a lot of times we take ourselves out of being where we are because, you know, maybe we don't like where we are, we don't like who we are. You know, that's definitely a deeper topic that we can get into. If you guys would like, you're more than welcome to comment that below. I don't mind getting all philosophical. That's why I love to do what I do. But other than that, I really just, you know, wanted to come on here with this message for you. And if you feel as if it served you, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Feel encouraged to check out some of the other cool videos. We got a lot on wisdom, a lot about self-enlightenment, motivation, and things like that. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you on the next one. As always, Matty Pace coming at you live from the Matty Mo Show, the host with the most mojo, saying one life, one love. I'm out, baby. You got this.